GM, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Can I prove that I'm not gay? Right there, motherfucker. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Bitcoin is less than 4% away from a new all-time high. We're at 106,000. Prices are pumping. It is almost, we're 2/3 of the way through May. Historically, seasonally, Bitcoin has been sell in May and go away. More often than not, sell in May and go away. I actually charted sell in May and go away previously. But generally, May has been not the best month to be long crypto. Now, obviously, nothing is guaranteed, right? There's always periods of time where things don't work, right? Just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. There's a May right there, right? Not a terrible sell, right? This May, kind of choppy consolidation over the summer. Then it went up, right? This was definitely a sell in May and go away. This was definitely a sell in May, go away. Again, probably a pretty good sell in May and go away there. Here, decent sell in May and go away. And we are now in May, and price is absolutely ripping. Like, it doesn't seem like there is much to stop us from going and making new all-time highs. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is what could come next. How do we get involved if we're not involved already? Are we waiting for a pullback? Are we going to long the breakout? What does that look like? We also have just closed Monday's trading. You know what that means? We've got a fresh set of Monday's range trades to look at. So we're going to be looking at those as well. So if you guys have any questions, as always, you can let me know in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to get into it, okay? So what's up to everyone in the chat? What's up? What's up? What's up over on Twitch? We're straight to business today because I have dinner waiting, and I told my wife I wouldn't be too long, and she just loves when she cooks a lovely dinner, and then I'm like, I've got to go stream for an hour. So I posted a chart on Twitter yesterday, right? And I said, effectively, I didn't love the weekend kind of PA. If you've been around for some time, right, this weekend PA, very reminiscent of FTX running the book, right? FTX was notorious for those kind of double-sided candles where it would run the longs and the shorts, right? And that's kind of what you got here. If you look at the daily candle, not the daily, but like the 4-hour move here over the weekend, right? We had a longs and shorts, right? Run the longs, run the shorts. Or run the shorts, runs the longs, excuse me. It's kind of just this choppy, shitty PA, right? So I wasn't really super keen on jumping into a trade immediately as soon as the market opened. I also thought that there might be a bit of a pullback on equities. But it basically came and retested the level, and I was like, listen, if it's going to bounce, this is where it's going to bounce from. So once we had this up move, we had a fresh 12-hour range, right? You have your low, and then you had a fresh high. And I effectively said, hey, if it retests this demand and then this little trend line here, this is where it should hold if it's going to go higher. And we're still maintaining above that key monthly close level. So a lot of people ask me, oh, why is this a key level? Well, this was the highest monthly close of all time. And you can see even on the low time frame that this is very much a key level. We broke above it here, and we've basically held it as support for the entire month. So definitely a key level there. We've come and we've retested it again, coupled with the order block, coupled with your little trend line, and it's held again. So if you took the long based on that tweet yesterday, GG's. I didn't personally take it. I was watching. I saw it come and retest, and I was like, I'm just going to sit out. But you can see here, we've swept out the lows again. So we now have another 12-hour bullish sweep there right into demand. So I would say that if you long this retest here, it's a pretty comfy long because you obviously have clear invalidation very close to your entry price and a clear target, all-time high. So prices pushed up all day today. We opened up with stocks going up again. Now, I'm not fully convinced that equities don't come and still fill this gap. That being said, price can trade, Bitcoin, can trade higher before this occurs, right? So just because I think that this might happen, it doesn't mean that you can't be bullish Bitcoin or that Bitcoin can't go up. It absolutely can. And you're seeing that right now. There's a divergence very clearly between Bitcoin and equities right now. Whereas equities are kind of looking a little bit more rolly in that they might roll over, right? You're getting this kind of divergence here, losing momentum, right? That I don't need to throw the RSI on here to know that there's a bear div forming here, right? It's losing momentum. Each high is less amplitude. Whereas Bitcoin, had a decent correction and is right back up testing the highs here. So it looks pretty good. What are the opportunities? How can we get into a trade? So we've got a lot of scenarios that we can cover, but the two primary ones that I'm looking at are as follows, okay? Scenario one is a larger pullback. And whether that happens from where we are right now, looking at this daily candle, looks pretty bullish, but anything can happen. Some sort of pullback. Maybe we run the highs here again. Maybe we even run all-time high. It's not that far away. And then some sort of larger pullback. That would be the option one for longs. I think the area I'd be looking is in here. The higher we go, the shallower the pullback I'd be looking for the next immediate long. The scenario number two is very simply just a move above all-time high, right, with some strength here, which we're appearing to get right now. Like, this looks pretty good. It looks like we're going to get it. And if we just start consolidating above all-time high, I think that just becomes quite an easy long, and you just ape. So very similar to like here, right? We broke above the highs, pushed up, and then you had a few days of consolidation. I know that this doesn't look like much here, but you got to remember, this is 3 days of price action here above all-time high. That to me just becomes kind of the breakout long idea there. So those are the two scenarios that I'm looking for. A very clear, big move through all-time high, because now you have such an easy level, right? Where it's like, okay, if we're going up, right, it's going to move through this zone, and we want to see a very strong close through this zone. If we get some sort of move up, and for any reason it's a quick move up and then it gets back below the level, that's the sign that you're probably wrong, and we're probably going to pull back. So if we're going to long the all-time high move, it's predicated on a strong move through the highs and some candle closures, some daily candle closures up there, some strong price action. And if we have any sort of weakness where it goes above and then gets back below, that's your sign to cut. Look at this as a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We had the clear level. There's your all-time high. You could even take from the body to the wick there, and we had no business staying above there. We traded up above, and then immediately we're back below, started selling off. You treat this, in my opinion, the exact same way. If we get some sort of move above the all-time highs here, and it sustains, we're bullish. We're targeting much higher prices. If we get a move above all-time highs and it fades back relatively quickly, probably a sign to get out. A microcosm of what I'm talking about is right here. We have these highs here, okay? As long as we're holding above these highs, it looks pretty good. Now, if we reject here and get back below this consolidation high, then I think there's a pretty high likelihood that we're going to go and take out these lows. Simple stuff. When you have these, I really like trading around these ranges and around these types of levels because your bias is so easy to determine. We hold the level, bullish. We deviate back below the level, get the fuck out. Simple as that, okay? And there's countless examples of this on the chart. Here's your lows, okay? Traded below, you could have shorted here. For sure. You could be like, this thing looks like it's going to roll over. But as soon as it shows you that this is a deviation with this is the market showing its hand, right? Nothing happens like in secret. Like people are like, oh, the market maker's doing this, they're doing that. Yeah, sure. But the market's going to give you a clue. When you have very clear lows like this, if this was going to break down, it would have broken down. But the fact that it hung around here and then had a very strong candle back inside, you need to be bullish. If not on this pullback, absolutely during this consolidation. Because it had the opportunity to break down and it didn't. Don't fight what the market is trying to tell you. This is no different here. If this is going to break out, it's going to give us a big green candle. If it gets back below these highs, it had the chance to break out. It didn't. That's probably a sign, not necessarily to short, but at the very least to get out of Dodge. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to be looking for here on Bitcoin. We're going to wait and see. We have Monday's range across the board here now to look at. So we have Monday's high, Monday's low on Bitcoin. You have Monday's high, Monday's low on ETH. You have Monday's high, Monday's low on Solana. So I've been doing the work for you guys for the past several weeks. I've been posting the charts, Monday's high and lows, right? Over and over and over again. Y'all got to be marking these things up on your chart and scanning. How do you know what trades to take? You mark it out and then you go and flick through your fucking chart. We just ran Monday's high on equities. Maybe it's a short here. You could short this right now. I'm not saying it's going to work. There's no knowing for sure. It's still only Monday. Maybe we want to see another move up on Tuesday. But in reality, as soon as we closed back below there, this becomes a valid short per the rules. And because the deviation's so small, you don't even need a big move here. I mean, this thing's already at 1.5R. Just to the mid-range is a 3R trade. Right? So that's... You need to mark it out. There's no excuse for you missing a Monday's range trade this week if one presents itself because you know what to do. I've been hammering it into your guys' fucking brains, for the last few weeks. Okay? So let's see what happens. We've got a very clear level to work with. Now, something that I do think is interesting to look at on Bitcoin, and this is a add-on to our Monday's range, okay? So if you look here, what have I got marked here? I've got the quarterly, oh, that's equities. I've got the quarterly candle here on Bitcoin. Notice we took out last quarter's low. What do you think becomes the target? Last quarter's high. Is that any different than Monday's range? No. We took out last quarter's low. Where was the target? The prior quarter's high. Could you not find a trade based on that knowledge? Is that not useful information? That, hey, we ran the last quarter's low. Maybe we're going to go take out the last quarter's high. What's that look like on the lower time frames? Does that not help you nail basically the exact bottom of that entire 70K 6-month-long range with a clear target? I think it does. Right? Is that not useful? Is that not something you can add to your toolkit? And that's something that you already understand how it works because it works the exact same as Monday's range. Right? Here, we had a quarterly high. We traded above it. Where do you think the next potential draw on liquidity is? Quarterly low. It's not every time. You can notice here, like here, we took out this quarterly high. We took out the quarterly low here, and then we didn't trade to the high. It's not every time. But based on just the quarterly chart here, every time we took out the quarterly low, more often than not, it would take out the high. Right? Took out the quarterly low, eventually took out the high. Took out the quarterly low, eventually took out the high. Again, nothing works 100% of the time. If trading was as easy as just, doing the same thing every fucking time and it works every time, we'd all be rich. Right? But if and buts were candy and nuts, what a wonderful Christmas it would be. But they ain't. Right? You still got to have some discretion. You still got to understand you're going to be wrong sometimes. But I've been giving you guys these frameworks for years now that you can go and apply in your own charts to start making some money, start taking some trades. One of the things that I think lacks massively on crypto Twitter is actual education. Everyone posts their charts. Look, I was long and it went up. Look how much money I made. I'm doing this. I'm bullish. Very few people explain why. And further than explaining why, show you how you can do it too. And I think that's where I've built my niche, to be completely honest with you, is I post analysis. I tell you what I think is going to happen and why. But then I share with you how you can do this yourself. Because I'm not going to be here forever. We just said we're saying goodbye to another OG. Trading Lord riding off into the sunset. Right? Guess what? Your old boy Maine, he's not going to be here forever, big dogs. Not going to be here forever. So at the very least, I hope to leave you guys with some skills so you can replicate this in your own charts. And so when I'm not here sharing it for you, doing these streams every single week, hand-holding you, you're going to be able to do it on your own. You know that fucking meme, dude? You know the meme? Like, this is us, okay? This is me and you. Right? This is me. This is Maine. Me. This is you guys. Okay? This is soon. Right? So I'm trying to just impart this shit on you. So one day you're good and you don't need me no more. You know what I'm saying? So does that make sense? Everyone on the same page here? Now, low time frame, can Bitcoin reject here? Sure. It doesn't seem super likely, but if it's going to reject, like if you're short, like you're wrong there. I didn't take this short. I had a few people in Discord be like, hey, is this a good short? I just, for the same reason I didn't take this long, I didn't take this short just because of how the weekend price action was. I just didn't have a lot of confidence. And this is where discretion comes in. A trade can tick all of your boxes. There might be other factors where you're like, you know what? It's ticked all the boxes, but because of this, I don't want to take it, right? So that's still a thing, and maybe I fucked up. Maybe I missed the easy long, and you know it's gonna rip from here. Maybe this ends up being a lower high, and I could have shorted, but I'm just not taking it yet. I want to see a little bit more info, and that's okay. That happens. So we all on the same page here? Does everyone understand? Steven says, Maine, I'm short Monday's ETH range. Can you have a look? All right, Steven, I'm looking. So it traded above Monday's high, and then now you're short. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, if it's going to dump, you better hope it dumps soon. I much would have rather seen another day of price action, to be honest with you. Like, maybe it does this. That, to me, is a much more confident short because then this becomes Tuesday, right? Like, we're still on, like, we're on Tuesday, but, like, we're only an hour and 50 minutes into Tuesday. So it could happen. You could end up being right, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it gets one more juice up and then maybe it fades and that becomes a better trade. When to buy alts? I mean, I don't know, bro. You obviously want to see Bitcoin dominance going down, but ultimately you need to be looking at the alt BTC pairs. Is your alt BTC pair bullish or not? Bitcoin dominance is, you know, pulled back a little bit, but now it's kind of rallying again. Is this done? Is this going to roll over? If this rolls over, probably a good time to pile into alts, but I'm pretty confident if Bitcoin shoots to a new all-time high, this continues higher, and Bitcoin probably sucks a lot of the liquidity and outperforms a lot of alts. Like if you look at like Sol BTC, for example, right? Like not looking that great. ETH BTC still looks okay, right? But what alts are you in? Look at it versus Bitcoin. So like CRV is a super popular one. Everyone always asks me to look at. Like, is this bottomed yet? Or has this got one more? If Bitcoin pushes up, does this have one more low? So when to buy alts, it depends, is the shitty answer. What's up? What's up, Gabby? What's up, Ryan? Logan? Yeah, ETH technically is triggered, but I don't know if I would have taken it this early on Monday, or now it's Tuesday, I guess. Still Monday here where I am. Seems like everyone is in Monday's range short on ETH. Watch everyone get stopped out on stream and then go, man, I thought you told me it was going to work. It might, but it might take more than one stab, right? It might take more than one stab. Bitcoin is just looking kind of fucking strong, right? Bitcoin hasn't taken Monday's high yet. I'd be a lot more confident in taking the ETH trade if Bitcoin did this as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, like I'm not super keen to take the Monday's range short 20 minutes after Monday's range establishes. But again, you can still take the trade and then we see what happens. But it seems like everyone in this video is in the trade. And so if it gets stopped out, no fucking refunds, boys. We also have to look at, there is a clear SMT going on here on Bitcoin and ETH, right? Bitcoin's making higher highs, ETH making lower highs. So if there is going to be a pullback, ETH might be weaker, but I think it's just a little early in the day, to be honest with you. Yeah, like you don't need to rush into it, boys. You don't need to rush into it. It's still the first day. Better be here for a long while because I'm retarded. I mean, that sounds like a you problem, my friend. I've been here for fucking 10 years, okay? 10 years. Almost 1,000 videos on YouTube. Somehow still don't have 100,000 subs. It's embarrassing. I'm glad to hear, Cree. You are my child, Matt. This is true. Go Leafs, go, bro. What a terrible. I'm not a Leafs fan. I'm just like, you know, they were one of the two Canadian teams remaining. So you kind of hoped that they weren't going to get fucked, but not good. What if this is the final exit pump and we all fell for it? Well, a final exit pump that takes Bitcoin to all-time high is a pretty good one. Can I stream more often? I stream 3 days a week. What do you want from me? I have a life. I have a wife. I have a life and a wife. What? You're half your life on CT? Bro, I'm fucking 46 years old. It's like a quarter of my life at most. What's up, Maine? Hate from Uganda. I got nothing but love for my Ugandese nuts. Where's your kid, Maine? I don't have one yet. Yeah, once I got a kid, boys, like, then what? I'm going to be fucking on Twitter all day? No. I'm going to be fucking making Legos and shit, right? Okay, so is everyone clear on Bitcoin? It looks pretty fucking strong, guys. Like, I mean, I don't know. Does this not look like it's just about to fucking rip? It can reject, but it seems unlikely. I would much rather short this than short here with a stop there, personally. It just doesn't seem like it's going to go down quite yet. Even if stocks look a little rolly, like, as long as they don't fucking nuke, like, as long as this doesn't fucking die, I don't see how Bitcoin doesn't probably make a new all-time high this week. Bro, I'm working my ass off so my kid does not have to trade. Are you crazy? So let's look at ETH. I mean, I think a lot of you are about to get stopped out all at the same time. ETH came right into our area of demand. So if you go look at my Twitter, I posted this demand level on ETH, and I'm like, this is where it's going to bounce, right? Like, it's the thing. I just, like, I give. And everyone just, they take and they take and they take. But if you look at ETH, it was super fucking clear, right? Super fucking clear that this was the level, and it came and it kind of retested it perfectly. So here it is here. I posted this. I don't even know when. Right? But this is 2 days ago, right? We drew this out. There's the level. Look at us now. So it's holding support. Put in an H12 sweep down here as well. It just looks bullish, right? So one of the problems many of you are going to have with the Monday's range strategy is you're going to look at Monday's range in a vacuum. You're going to say Monday's high, Monday's low, and you're going to say, oh, it faded Monday's high. I got to short it, okay? And you absolutely can trade this on its own as a system. But your hit rate is going to vary. There's going to be periods of time, like last week, where basically every Monday's high short paid. Almost every single one. Some of them paid twice. They paid low to high, high back to low. We covered all of those on Friday or whatever, right? But you're going to have varying levels of success. There's going to be periods of time where price does this, you're going to short it, and then it's going to do this. And then it's going to come down, and then it's going to go down here, and then it's going to go up, and then it's not going to hold. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? It didn't work. And the way that you take this system, which is a very rudimentary, basic introduction to a price action concept, the way you turn it into a full-fledged system is by adding all of the other shit, right? All of the other shit. And I always talk about this. What am I giving you with Monday's range? Right? I'm giving you, oh, it did this. I'm giving you a bias. Okay, we think it goes down here. I'm telling you where your stop goes. I'm telling you where your entry is. Okay? I'm telling you where your target is. I'm force feeding you the things that you need for a good price action based setup. But to increase the expectancy of this setup, you need to look at price holistically, because this is not enough to have long-term success. There might be a month where every single Monday's range trade you take works. There might be a month where none of them do. Right? And then you're going to say, well, how do I get to that next level? The idea here is I'm giving you a very basic framework that's pretty much as mechanical as it gets, which will allow you to start taking some trades, getting those fucking reps in. And then once you get to that point, now how do we add on to it? How do I make it work even more? Using other pieces of analysis. So you have Monday's range here on ETH. Just in a vacuum with nothing else on, you might say, well, it just ran Monday's high. I got to short it. But if you add the context of, okay, well, hold on. We just swept out a 12-hour low into H12 demand. We pumped. We broke structure. We're now retesting support. And we put in a bullish SFP. Could this work? Yes. But the likelihood of it working, when you take into account the higher time frame here, high time frame demand, high time frame SFP, means it's less likely to work. Whereas if we were to actually run Monday's low here, this would be an even higher expectancy trade, because not only are we running Monday's low, but we're also retesting demand, and we also put in a bullish SFP. Maybe there's a breaker down here on the low time frame. I'm almost certain that there is. I mean, there's a raid candle, but whatever. Like, you know, like, does that make sense? Like, when you add the high time frame, it gives you additional clues, additional confluences. So a Monday's range short on the 1 hour chart, when we're on support, right, is less likely to work out than if maybe the high time frame were bearish. So if you're someone who's using this Monday's range thing religiously and you're starting to make some money, great, okay? But what I want you to do to take it to the next level is don't just disregard all the other stuff I've taught you over the years. What's the high time frame doing? Where are we relative to a higher time frame range? Relative to high time frame order blocks, breakers, PD arrays. If you're taking a Monday's range long, but there's a high time frame low right here, and it doesn't run it, and then it does this, and then you go, oh, what the fuck, and then it goes. You're going to say, well, why didn't mine work? But if you zoomed out, you might have said, oh, well, there's a clear high time frame draw on liquidity just below us. This long was way more high confidence than this one. Doesn't mean you can't take both. I'm just saying you have to get it. Like, nothing in trading is purely mechanical. If it was easy as a robot could do it, and I could just say, hey, this works no matter what, right? It would be, I wouldn't be on here streaming on YouTube and fucking running a business and doing all the other shit that I do, trading, fucking investing. I'd be on a yacht somewhere because I would have had an algorithm that just simply longed or shorted every Monday's range trade. Okay? Again, you're going to have periods where it works. You're going to have periods where it doesn't work. But it gives you a basic framework, an entry pattern that you can now combine with other stuff to get better and better, more consistent, higher hit rate signals. Okay? Should we use EST time zone in TradingView? I was wondering what time zone set for daily close. It doesn't matter. This is just the time of the candles. The daily close is the same no matter where you are. It's just the time of day for you is different. 5 p.m. Pacific time is the daily close for the actual candle. For me, right? But that's like, it's like 0 UTC or whatever. So this daily candle that just closed here closed at 5 p.m. PST, which is 8 p.m. EST, which is 11 or whatever. I don't know what it is in UTC. It doesn't matter. This is just like, I'm just used to New York because that's where my mind goes from Forex. Can I pay you 5% commission to trade my account for me? I have high 4 figures. Impressive. So I have a lot to work with. You can send me your money and I will keep it and then I will block you and we will never speak again. Let me know if you want to accept that deal. You can think about it. Don't decide right now. Sleep on it, then come back to me. Maine, what do you do after taking a trade? Stare at screens? Yeah, I fucking sit there. I fucking pace around the room. I stress out. You gotta fucking be able to be in a trade and not stare at it, right? Especially if you're swing trading. If you're taking a trade that's based on the hourly or the 4 hour, it could take hours to play out. Like, you don't need to be staring at it. You've got your stop loss. You've got your take profit. Maybe check every hour. See what's happened. But you don't need to be staring at it. If you're scalping on the super low time frame, by all means, be fucking locked in. But you're probably wasting your time. There is a thing as too much screen time. Yeah, I saw the stablecoin bill pass. I don't actually know what it entails. If someone wants to give us the TLDR, feel free. But that's probably contributing to the bullishness. Michael, the answer to your question is yes. If Monday's high and low can also be support and resistance. If we break out of Monday's range here and then retest it, it could end up being support. Absolutely. It's just a level. Are you ever fading Monday's range because the stop loss is too wide? Absolutely. Part of your analysis before you enter a trade is, does the risk reward make sense? Right? If Monday's high is here and Monday's low is here and price does this, you might say, okay, well, it might go to Monday's low, but based on where I have to put my stop loss, right? Like, the risk reward isn't good enough. This is a bad drawing because it's 1.4. Like, I'd probably take this, but if this was way up here and it was only a 1-to-1, might not be a good trade. Bro, I messaged you about MEXC exchange. Block my account. Remember, my bro. I don't remember. I get hundreds, if not thousands of DMs every single week. And what do you want me to do about it, bro? So yeah, Solana. I actually had a couple nice trades on Solana this week. I shorted and I caught this little long here. I mean, it just looks good, dude. A lot of stuff looks pretty fucking good here. I mean, the one risk we have really is like there's probably like some sort of bearish divergence building here on Bitcoin. So like if you do RSI, I'm sure there's a daily bear div in the making here. Yeah. But like maybe this gets one more push and then it's like the triple div, the triple dipper. The triple dipper's killing people. You're killing people with the triple dipper. But that's like kind of the only warning sign I really see. Everything like it looks pretty strong, man. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see. You know, if we pull back from here, I'm not in a short, so I'll miss it. And if we go directly to all-time high from here, I'm not in a levered long, so I'll miss it. And that's okay. That's okay because you know what, dude? People are like, oh my God, dude, if you're not long now, we're about to go to all-time high. Bro, it's a 3% move. We longed this. I'm okay missing a 3% move if I just caught a 30% one. You know what I'm saying? Why are you only taking the setup on Mondays? I'm not. You actually can't take the setup until Monday has closed. Can hype go to 32? Absolutely. Remember the range levels on hype, guys. Like, I gave you the pico fucking low on hype. When we reclaim this, go watch, like, I implore you, go watch my streams from the start of April. While all the bulls on Twitter right now were silent, we were bullish on Fartcoin at 26 cents. We were bullish on hype at $14. We were bullish on Bitcoin at $80. We were bullish on ETH under 2K. We were bullish on Sol at $100. This is only a month ago. Okay, go watch those streams. And we talked about this exact fucking range here on hype. I said if it reclaims 17, the target is 24. So long as it holds above 24, the target is 31. Simple. Do you I'm not going to answer any more Monday's range trade questions, guys. Go watch the Monday's trade video. There's one on my YouTube called Monday's Range. Just go watch that. Go watch that, okay? Because I can't have the entire stream be about Monday's Range. Let's go look at Twitch here. What's up, OKO Outlaw? Jerry Finks, what's up? Okay, so Savaki says, hey, Maine, I just farted right in this moment in time. I just farted right in this moment in time. God bless y'all. God bless you as well. Remember, hot air always rises. The next straight to business, absolutely. What's up, DJ Slumbo? KG. What's up, Big Bear? How you doing, bro? Does SMT work on BTC with Sol? Absolutely it does. So if you go look at the bottom on Bitcoin here, and then the bottom on ETH, or the bottom on Sol even, like let's look here. So you can see here on ETH and Sol, we had a SMT. Did we not? Sol made a higher low, ETH made lower lows. So there's an SMT there. So absolutely this stuff works in crypto. Bitcoin, bullish, right? Higher low here. ETH, lower low. And then here, right, we had the same thing. You have this kind of, sorry, not here. I think it happened at the top as well. Where was it? Maybe it was with Sol. But the short answer is yes. SMTs do work in crypto. and they work the same as FX, right? So you'll have higher low, and SMT, guys, for those who don't know, like one asset makes a lower low, the other asset makes a higher low. And then that can give you a clue on if the market's going to bounce, the asset that made a higher low might end up being a better long, right? And you can do SMT with the pairs as well. There can be an SMT within the pairs too. Lots you can do. Thanks, Jeffrey. Miss Beginning, are you leaning more bearish if we take out all-time high before correction? I'm not leaning bearish really in any sense of the word. But if we take out all-time high and then deviate back below, I think that there's a strong likelihood of a correction. But that's fucking like, you know, we're talking, don't want to trip over $1 to pick up a penny, right? I hedged 25% of my spot BTC at 95K and haven't bought back. Do you think it's better to wait for a pullback or just buy now where there's strength? I would either wait for a pullback or I would buy on a confirmed breakout above all-time high. Because if we get a really strong breakout above all-time high, you're looking for this to happen, right? Very strong breakout. Okay, we're probably going way higher. Just get back in there. Are you bullish on memes? It depends which one, and it depends from where your entry is. I still think Bitcoin dominance is going to go up, right? I think memes can go up? Yeah, I mean, memes have gone crazy this cycle, but a lot of these memes, right, are still down from their all-time high prices. Like, where can I get a good chart of this that's not, like, is this the all-time high for SPX 6900? It's like, despite all of, you know, fucking Murad's bull posting, this thing's still down 60%. Doesn't mean it can't make a new all-time high, but if you bought it anywhere in the last 8 months, you know, you're probably in agony. So you've got to just keep in mind that with a lot of these meme coins. Like, I posted this one on Twitter the other day as a good example. Like, my entry on FWOG was at 250 million market cap because some retard friend of mine told me it was going to billions. So I bought. It went up 5. I bought here. It's 5x off the low, right? But I'm still need another 83% pump just to break even. So it's still down 86% from all-time high. So like this could do this and never make a new all-time high. But if you bought here, you can make a fuckload of money here. Where's Discord? All of my links, guys, are in the description. The prop firm, the Discord, the Telegram. Discord, Telegram are free. Everything you need is in the description of the video. My bullish DXY, I think as long as it can hold this range, I think it's got a good chance of going up. But it's rejecting it right now. Like, so if it's able to reclaim this and hold above it, I think it can rally. But as long as it stays below this range, I don't really have a super strong bias. Woo, baby, you're going to learn very quick. If you copy and paste your comment a bunch of times, I'm less likely to fucking answer it. A-Trades told me to buy. Who the fuck is A-Trades? BDCD to 70, it's possible. Like, I think if Bitcoin's going to go on another ripper of a rally, then yeah. Like, I don't see why this thing can't trade even higher up to here. Dave, you are not a mod. I don't know what you're talking about. And you're literally copying and pasting your question. You've done it like fucking 3 times now. Why are you lying? Why are you lying, bro? You think the neck doesn't see? The neck thing sees all. My fucking Adam's apple here is like the eye of goddamn Sauron. I see fucking everything. All right, guys. So, and to answer your question, Dave, the mod, if Monday's closed, Bitcoin doesn't close. It never closes. Is it any sort of higher or lower hit rate on a holiday Monday? I don't know. Next Monday's a long weekend. Try it out. See if it works. It's still Monday's range. The Bitcoin market doesn't close, but maybe there's less likelihood that it works. I don't have that data. Can I give my input on Brett? He seems like a very nice guy. I knew a Brett when I went to school, elementary school. He was a nice kid. You want to know a crazy story, dude? So about a kid named Brett, I was fucking maybe 10 or something years old. And there's a kid named Brett I went to school with. And me and my friends, we prank called his house. And I don't remember what we said, but we like said something mean or something to like his mom answered. And we said something crazy. And, you know, I was too young and retarded to know that they, like, can figure out who called, like, star 69, which is, like, before there was caller ID. You could use star 69 and see who just called you. And then they, like, found out it was us, and I got in so much trouble. Anyways, Brett seems like a nice guy. Fuck, Americans have way too much holidays. Are you European saying that, bro? You guys don't even work, and I'm not even American. Why am I defending them? Don't leave me, Maine. I'll always be with you, bro, in your heart. Forever. But I won't be on the internet forever. Fuck that. Fuck that. Thoughts on the total 3 chart. So I think the best way to look at the total 3 chart is without tether as well. Like, would this do it? Yeah. So here's the thing, right? What you really want to do is this. No. So this is really the chart that you want to look at, because this effectively is alts versus BTC. Right? Like, this is all the alts versus BTC. And it looks surprisingly similar to ETH BTC. So you could argue, oh, okay, this is on demand, right? Like, we're on some demand here, but this is alt season here. This is alt season. So until this finds a bottom, which I think is, you know, probably close, but not yet. You know, no alt season, but this is like, once this thing fucking reverses, that's alt season that you all seem to want so badly. I am North American, but that doesn't mean I'm from the USA, bro. Maine, you naughty minx. Stop. I'm a married man. Leave me alone. You're crazy. Are you thinking market tops in Q3, Q4? Maybe. I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, like the 4-year cycle, right? The 4-year cycle would suggest that we top in December. So if you look at when the market has topped, right? So you have, I'm going to go to this chart. You have, and then I'm going to do this. Ah, no, you son of a bitch. How could you do this to me? So you have December, right? November, December. Okay. And then look, 4 years later, November, December, right? Even going back a prior bull run to this, to 2013, which isn't even on this chart. I think Bitstamp has it. Okay, here we go. Look at this. So there's November, December of 2013, right? Now, does this mean that this is going to happen every time? Of course not. But this is what's happened in the past. And history often fucking rhymes, and it also fucking sometimes repeats. And I believe that that was a quote said by Sir Paul McCartney. Just kidding. I think it was Winston Churchill or something, or Edgar Allan Poe. I don't fucking know. But history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Some shit like that. Some dude who writes things said that, and it was quite apropos. But if you look here, the 4-year cycle, every December, every 4 years, okay, is basically the top. Okay, this one was November. So you have December 2013, that's the top. December 2017, 4 years later, that's the top. November, December 2021, that's the top. So 4 years after 2021 would be November, December of 2025. So that would be Q4. Now, is that guaranteed to happen? I don't fucking know. But based on what's happened over the last 3 bull markets, maybe. Maybe. Damn, did everyone get stopped out on ETH at the exact same time, just like I said you would? Crazy. Like I said, no refunds. I'm much more interested in shorting ETH if it breaks back within Monday's range. I don't think that this initial little poke was enough, to be completely frank. And remember my big rant earlier about the high time frame context. High time frame context. We were bullish here. Look, you guys, all of your stops are fueling the pump. You are the liquidity that is sending the market higher. Do you think that ETH gives a new all-time high this cycle, given the high time frame market structure? I do think it's possible. I fucking hope so. I mean, it'd be embarrassing as hell if it never did. I do think that there's a pretty decent likelihood that it makes a new all-time high. I'm gonna say I think it's possible, but it's not guaranteed. Possible, but for ETH to go to all-time high, right? It's got to pump almost 100% from here. So how high is Bitcoin got to go for ETH to pump 100%? You know? Loma thinks Sol doesn't hit 300 this year. I don't know. Hard to say. When did he say that? I know he's changed his tune recently and gotten a little more bullish. Mark Twain. So am I wrong that that's a guy who writes things? Or am I right? Yes or yes? Does Mark Twain write things and is therefore Trader Main correct when he quoted him? Yes or yes? Who I got for the hockey playoffs? Florida looks pretty goddamn strong. I would like McDavid to win. My biggest issue is when I bet with what I want, I end up losing money. And when I bet on who's the better team, I usually do a lot better. Yes, Mark Twain. Exactly. World-renowned literary mind. All right, guys. So I told my wife I would do a 1-hour stream and then I'd come eat the delicious dinner that she's preparing for me. That means we have 6 minutes. 6 minutes left, and then it's over. Then I might never come back until at earliest Wednesday. So, what's the best trade I've ever taken? Meeting you, bro. The best trade ever. That was in my wedding vows, basically, about my wife. So corny. So I got 5 minutes here. What are we covering? What do you want to see? Spam. I'm going to pick one chart from Twitch, one chart from YouTube. All right. Someone on Twitch says whiff, so we'll cover whiff. Now I'm going to pick one from YouTube. Come on, let's see some effort with the spamming. Give it everything you got. Everything you got. We've already covered hype. We've already covered soul. Come on. Oh my God, you guys are blowing up the chat. Imagine if you guys liked the video with this much fucking fervor. 600 people watching, 115 likes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, now you guys are going crazy. You guys are going crazy. I like it. This chat is literally freezing. Okay. All right. I'm going to pick... I'm going to pick... Litecoin, really? Okay, I'm going to do 2. Oh, fuck it. You guys are tricking me. I'm going to do more than 2. Okay. I'm going to do I'm going to do WIF. I'm going to do Litecoin. I'm going to do Bonk. Okay. Bonk and WIF are kind of similar, but whatever. And I will do Virtual because that's one I don't really ever do. Okay. I said I was going to do 1 coin each. You guys are getting more. This Jeremy, I'm Jerry. I'm not even saying that one. And we're already up. The 5 minutes already up, so we got to get into this. All right. No more spamming, guys. Just tell me how much you love me in the chat and like the video, okay? So we're going to do WIF, LTC, Bonk, Virtual, Hyperspeed. Then I'm going to eat a yummy, yummy dinner. Okay. So WIF. WIF. Is the hat on? Is the hat on or is it off? Okay. So WIF. Where to begin? Let's start on the very, very high time frame. So argument to be made that if the market continues to rally, the draw on liquidity for WIF is the last quarterly candle's high. Okay? So there's that going for it. All of these reversals that we have taken and we have looked at, remember Popcat took out the prior quarterly low. Remember Fartcoin? Didn't take out the prior quarterly low. Bad example. But so many of these coins did. Right? Solana, prior quarterly low. Ethereum, prior quarterly low. We drew these out over a month ago, and now they're all... When we're down here, people don't want to talk. But once it's back above that quarterly level, it's time to get bullish, right? So all of these were cooking. Now, WIF took out the prior quarterly low, got back above, started looking good. On the monthly, right now, we have this resistance, this monthly fair value gap. That is resistance. You can see price traded up into it, and it's kind of rejecting off. Go down to the weekly. The weekly chart, super fucking clean here. Okay, this is the same setup that we used on Hype, that we used on Sol, that we used on Fartcoin and Popcat. Took out the prior quarterly low. Right? This is an SFP. It's an SFP. Even though it's not an actual SFP, it's the same thing. Okay? We have a breaker. The up move before the move down that took out that key low. You have a structure shift and a retest. So this is the long that you wanted to take. Stop here, entry there, based on the weekly. Now, high time frame, bit of no man's land here on the weekly. If we get a significant correction, this is the retest you buy. I'm not saying it's going to come back here, but if we get a correction on WIF, what is this level here? I would say even down to here, but I would say about 60 to 75 cents is your area to buy if we get a pullback, okay? Zooming in more, looks very similar to the Ethereum chart right now in that we are on demand. So if you're a low time frame trader, if you're looking at WIF, your bias is simply here. As long as we're holding this gray box, you can be bullish for a new high. Simple. Done. Okay. What was the next one I was going to do? LTC. Let's look at the high time frame. Oh, look. Took out a quarterly low. Rallied massively after. Oh, look. Did the weekly give you a breaker? It did. And in this instance, the trade hasn't really played out yet. So I actually don't hate this weekly setup on LTC. We have the breaker here. It created a fair value gap. It just took out last week's low. There's a world where LTC looks really good here. Now, it's not a world that I live in because I am scarred by LTC. Okay? But there's a world where LTC sends from right here. Now, could it come down a little lower? Yeah, but I think as long as LTC is holding this structure and we form a higher low somewhere around here, it looks pretty good to me. 12-hour is very similar to some of the other coins we talked about, but it hasn't quite tagged that demand yet. So if we get a pullback and LTC runs into this 12-hour order block and takes out this low, hitting this breaker and this high time frame demand, that becomes a pretty nice looking long. So I wouldn't personally long LTC right now, but if we get a correction and it comes down to the, mid to low 80s, I think it looks potentially interesting for a long. Okay. Next up, we're doing virtual. Oh, look. It took out the prior quarter's low, and then it fucking ripped. Very similar chart to WIF, except for it didn't give you the retest on the breaker. It just fucking chatted through. Similarly to WIF, if you get any sort of retest of this area on a significant pullback, this is a big pullback at this point. I don't know if it'll happen. It's like a 40% drop. But if it does, around 1 to 120 on the high time frame becomes very interesting. Now, in what world could we get a 50% pullback on altcoins? We could get Bitcoin does this, makes a new all-time high, or it just and it corrects to like 95K. Because Bitcoin dominance, I think, still trades up and would make new highs on another Bitcoin breakout, the resulting pullback, which on Bitcoin might be 10 to 15%, could absolutely leave altcoins pulling back 50%. Just look at Bitcoin now. Bitcoin is basically right at the highs. It pulled back a couple of points over the last week. Fartcoin pulled back 20. So you better believe if Bitcoin gets any sort of decent correction, whether it be from here or higher, a lot of altcoins can put in a significant pullback. I'm not saying you need to short them. I'm not saying you need to sell your bags, right? But what you should be doing is looking at coins like Virtual and say, listen, you know when people use the term stink bid? This is what they're talking about. At the current price, this seems like it's never going to come. 50% lower seems very unlikely. But if we get a 10 to 15% pullback, all of a sudden you get a crazy wick and it ends up closing back up here, and you only got filled if you had those stink bids in place, or if at least you had some alerts and were paying attention. Okay. Last but not least, Bonk. So Bonk is really fighting. I've had this chart for forever. And again, another one where it took out the quarterly low. Okay. I've had this Bonk chart forever. And I said it's got to reclaim two levels. It's got to reclaim this, and it's got to reclaim this trend line. So it's back above this area, and it's kind of consolidating. If Bonk can get back above this red line, I think there's a very good chance that it probably has a pretty decent rally in it. But as long as it's below this red line, I don't think you short it. It can continue to consolidate here. But that's kind of what I'm watching on Bonk. It's got to kind of get a little bit more of a push. It's into some resistance here, but it is holding this SR flip. Similarly to all the other coins, see how I nailed saying similarly today? Kudos to me. I'm learning to speak English. Similar to some of these other coins, right? Maybe it never comes back here, but this is high time frame demand, and even if it's a quick wick, you want to be ready. So at the very, I'm not saying you got to bid here, but maybe set an alert here. And if we do get a bit of a correction, you might get lucky. All right, guys, so that's all I got. If you like the videos, please do me the favor of liking, subscribing, turning on the notifications bells. I really, really want to, just for my own ego, to get to 100,000 subs on YouTube. So I'm working towards that number. We're almost at 60,000. Okay, so if you want to support me, Like, comment, retweet, engage with my stuff. Instagram, follow me on TikTok. I'm posting on TikTok 2 to 3 times a day. If you got a question and you ask me it on TikTok, the likelihood of me answering it is really high because I don't really have a lot of followers over there. Follow me on Instagram. Make sure you join the free Telegram group. The link's in the description. The link to my Discord, also free, in the description. If you're interested in the IMG indicator that draws your order blocks for you, link in the description. You're interested in the Haven, link in the description. You're interested in Breakup Prop, link in the description. If you don't have any money, you don't want to give me any money, I don't care. I'm doing these videos for free, and I will continue to do them. There's over 900 on this channel. That number is going to keep going up. 3 streams every single week, and videos, ideally, on the days that I'm not streaming. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. As always, I'll be back with another live stream on Wednesday. I will talk to y'all then. Stay safe.